Hello and thank you for joining us on the Capitol Report on NTD television. I'm your host, Steve Lance. Gas prices have hit new record highs multiple days in a row, and now for the first time, the average cost is over $4 per gallon in every state. And now congressional Republicans are renewing calls to ramp up domestic oil production. But Democrats have another plan in mind. NTD's Melina Wisecup brings us more.
No matter where you live in America, you're not likely to see signs listing gas for any less than $4. The national average today ticking up to $4.57 per gallon. Gas prices have spiked by 50 cents over the past month. The White House today messaging that this hike is out of their hands.
What we're doing, whether it's the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, whether it's the Ethanol 15, to make sure that the American people are not feeling Putin's price hike. This is where this is coming from, 60 to 70%.
But Republicans say the timeline tells a different story. Senator Cruz, tracing it back to January of 2021, presents this chart showing a gradual increase leading up to the spike in February when the Russian invasion started. And with the midterms around the corner, Republicans are latching on to this pocketbook issue.
Because the price of diesel is up, that means every single product that we buy that's transported on a diesel truck all just went up in price.
We know that supply matters and domestic supply matters.
Just last week, the Biden administration canceled 3 oil and gas lease sales in the Gulf of Mexico and off the coast of Alaska, removing millions of acres from possible drilling. And Senator Cruz today is accusing the Biden administration of deliberately trying to hike prices.
Because if it's so hard, you'll suddenly wake up and say, I need to buy me a $100,000 electric car with a battery made in China.
But the White House has pointed fingers at the oil and gas companies, accusing them of price gouging.
Melina, how is Congress responding to these high gas prices? And is there anything lawmakers are doing or can do to address this?
Steve, this price gouging accusation has really been the main talking point from the White House and congressional leadership here. As a matter of fact, this week the House is trying to pass a bill that would give the federal government the authority to crack down on oil and gas producers who are not passing on a price that's in line with what the Biden administration would deem as a reasonable price. Now, what's interesting about this bill is that there are a couple of House Democrats who are planning to vote against this. For example, Congressman Gonzalez from Texas says that he's skeptical of the price gouging argument, saying he just hasn't seen any evidence of it, and that's why he's voting no, saying, quote, "You show me the proof and you have my vote, but I have not seen it when it comes to energy." So House Democrats can really only afford to lose a couple of votes here, so it will be interesting to see how this vote unfolds, and we will be watching out for that result to see if there's any more House Democrats who are planning to vote against this. And aside from those proposals, we haven't seen any other proposal come forward or congressional leadership announce any other action that they could take to lower these gas prices, at least any that would have any immediate impact. Now, we know the calls from Republicans have been for the Biden administration to encourage more domestic oil production. Republicans say this is the way to lower gas prices. And just this week, Senate Republicans again renewed their calls for the Biden administration to fast track oil and offshore oil and gas leases. But with this latest action by the White House just last week, canceling those offshore oil and gas leases, that indicates that the White House is very unlikely to change course now and take a turn to encourage more domestic energy production. Steve, back to you.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk today says he will be voting Republican in upcoming elections. That's despite his history of voting primarily for Democrats. Musk said on his Twitter, "In the past, I voted Democrat because they were mostly the kindness party, but they have become the party of division and hate. So I can no longer support them and will be voting Republican." Musk said he expects political attacks on him will escalate dramatically in the coming months. Fall midterm primaries are upon us, and voter enthusiasm in some key states is on the side of Republicans. Republican turnout is up nearly 30% since 2018 midterms in states like Ohio and Pennsylvania. The Oklahoma primaries are about a month away. Congressman Markwayne Mullin is running for U.S. Senate in that state. We had a chance to sit down with him. Congressman Markwayne Mullin, thank you for joining us on the Capitol Report again.
Thanks for having me. It's a beautiful setting.
Absolutely. Congressman, there's quite a few primaries have already come to pass. You have a pretty big one coming up for your Senate race in Oklahoma. What do you think are going to be some of the key issues that decide the outcome of the midterms?
Well, who can people relate with? Who do they want to sit down and have a conversation with, and who can they trust in their future? We have a lot of contested seats in Oklahoma. You have Frank Lucas. It really has his first contested primary ever. My current congressional seat's open. You have both U.S. Senate races that are on the ballot, which is just almost unheard of, right? So you have James Langford, and then ours is a special election. And honestly, people are really concerned about inflation. That's a huge issue. It's costing everybody right now across the United States an average of $325 plus per month. And you take Oklahoma, and in just my district alone, the average household income is just barely $40,000 a year. Household income. You add $325 plus to that a month just for inflation cost. That's a big issue. Another big issue going on in our state, believe it or not, is these transgender athletes. It's an issue in our schools. Parents that have kids in school, like myself, I have 3 boys and 3 daughters. All of our kids are athletes. They all compete. That's been a hot issue. And it's different for different people, but those 2 big issues rank number 1 and number 2 in our state on things that the Oklahoma voters concerned about.
Congressman, as I look over your shoulder right here, I see the Supreme Court, and I'm guessing in a red state like Oklahoma, the pro-life issue is going to be something major. How big of an issue is that?
Well, Oklahoma is the reddest state in the union, and we take a lot of pride in that. So all 77 counties went red, and so that means all 77 counties believe in the sanctity of life. As a father of 3 biological kids and 3 kids that we got to choose, and I mean that. I mean, we have 6 wonderful kids. Someone loves that baby, and what we aren't for in Oklahoma is killing our future leaders and our future world changers. I get that you have unwanted pregnancies, but I'll tell you right now, from a father that has 3 adopted kids, that child is still wanted and can still be loved. In Oklahoma, we're not going to be killing babies. We're going to be saving babies' lives in Oklahoma, and we're going to continue to do so. And so it is a big issue, but we are actually celebrating the idea that we're going to be able to stop this horrible practice of killing babies, finally, because our state's going to make the right decision on saving those lives.
Now, Congressman, once Roe v. Wade becomes, reversed, if indeed it does, which is likely to happen, a lot of these issues are going to be up to the states. You see a lot of corporate America right now. You see Starbucks, you see Amazon wading into politics, saying that they're actually going to pay for their employees in red states to get abortions, whether that's paying for their flights to blue states to get it done. As a member of Congress who represents a red state, how do you read into that?
It's sick. I'm also a business owner. I also have, a tremendous amount of employees, my wife and I do. It makes you question. You go to some of these places and they start complaining about maternity leave. Maybe this is their sick way of saying that they're trying to control maternity leave because they're going to give the mother a choice to go kill that baby. That's sick. But why else would you be doing something like this? I mean, we as voters and we as consumers, we can choose to do business with them or not. I can choose to buy Starbucks or not. I'll choose not to. We can choose to use Amazon or not. I personally will choose not to. Let other people make those decisions. But as for corporations to say that they are literally going to pay for an employee to go to a different state to murder their baby, those are businesses that I don't choose to associate with. And I would hope a lot of people would feel the same, because if you want to do business in our state, then respect our laws. If you don't want to do business in our state, then just do businesses in those states that's going to offer those heinous abortions. Otherwise, get out of our state.
Congressman Markwayne Mullin, thank you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Former President Donald Trump's social media platform, Truth Social, is now available on phones as a web app. Trump Media and Technology Group made the announcement today, saying that Truth Social can be accessed from any internet-connected computer, phone, or device. Truth Social is one of the projects from the Trump-founded media group. The The group is also planning to rival big tech streaming companies like Netflix and Disney with its own programming. Hey there, I'm Steve Lance, host of NTD's Capitol Report. Just want to thank you for tuning in. To catch our full broadcast and other amazing content, watch us over at epochtv.com.